Your body is listening, why softness might be the medicine you've been missing. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Tara Wilson, a woman whose work is quietly revolutionizing how we think about healing, chronic illness, and the relationship between our emotions and our bodies. Tara is not just surviving fibromyalgia, she's teaching us that softness, self compassion, and emotional honesty are not luxuries, they are survival tools. She's making the world a better place by showing women, especially Black women living with chronic pain, that they don't have to choose between being strong and being whole. Today, I want to share what she taught me because honestly, Wayne, it might change your life. Let me start with something that sounds almost too simple to be true. Your emotions are not the enemy. Unmanaged fear is. For women, especially Black women living with chronic illness like fibromyalgia, emotional stress and fear can directly worsen pain, fatigue, and brain fog. Research shows that fibromyalgia is linked to an overactive threat system in the brain and an underactive soothing system. That means our bodies are stuck in survival mode, constantly scanning for danger, never fully resting, never fully healing, unless we intentionally create emotional safety for ourselves. Think about that for a second. Your nervous system is literally waiting for you to tell it that it's safe. When we learn to name our emotions, challenge fearful thoughts, and choose softer, more compassionate responses, we are literally helping our nervous system calm down, which can reduce flare ups and improve quality of life. This isn't some feel good philosophy. This is neuroscience. This is your body begging you to stop fighting it and start listening to it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. LeAnne, I don't have time to sit around feeling my feelings. I've got bills to pay, kids to raise, a job that's trying to kill me, and a body that already feels like it's betraying me. I hear you, but here's the thing: ignoring your emotions doesn't make them go away. It just makes them louder. And eventually, your body will force you to listen. Let me tell you about a pattern that researchers and patient advocates have been documenting for years. Many people with fibromyalgia report that their condition began or worsened after major stressors, accidents, infections, or emotional trauma. Once fibromyalgia develops, the chronic pain, poor sleep, and fatigue create additional emotional stress, feeding a vicious cycle. Patients often feel dismissed or misunderstood, which increases anxiety, fear, and feelings of hopelessness. Picture this: a woman goes to the doctor because her body hurts everywhere. She's exhausted, she can't sleep, her brain feels like it's wrapped in fog. The doctor runs tests, everything comes back normal. So she's told it's stress, or worse, it's in her head. She leaves feeling unheard, invalidated, and even more afraid. The fear feeds the pain. The pain feeds the fear. And the cycle continues. But here's where it gets interesting. The same research highlights that stress reduction, pacing, and mind body practices like meditation, mindfulness based stress reduction, and cognitive behavioral therapy are key tools to calm the nervous system and reduce the impact of stress on symptoms. People are encouraged to shift from constantly fighting their illness to actively managing it, honoring limits, and focusing on what is meaningful. And the outcomes? Behavioral and emotional approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and similar programs are reported as moderately helpful in lowering pain, emotional distress, and the emotional burden of chronic illness. People who consistently use these tools often experience fewer or less intense flare ups, better sleep, and a greater sense of control over their lives. So let me say it again, louder for the people in the back. Your emotions are not the enemy, unmanaged fear is. Now, let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable. Softness, self compassion, and emotional regulation are powerful healing tools, not weakness. I know, I know. We've been taught that softness is for people who have the luxury of falling apart, that self compassion is selfish, that emotional regulation is just another way of saying get over it. But what if I told you that stress is a major trigger for fibromyalgia symptoms? And learning to manage stress and emotions is considered a core part of any effective treatment plan. Mind body practices like mindfulness, meditation, breathing, gentle movement, and cognitive behavioral approaches have all been shown to help people with fibromyalgia, reduce pain, emotional distress, and the impact of stress on their bodies. Being softer with yourself, setting boundaries, pacing your energy, prioritizing rest, and letting go of perfectionism is not giving up. Guidelines for fibromyalgia actually encourage focusing on coping, honoring your limits, and shifting away from constantly fighting your body. Let me tell you about something called the FITS model, which stands for fibromyalgia, imbalance of threat and soothing systems. Studies suggest that people with fibromyalgia often have a hyperactive threat system in the brain and a relatively underactive soothing system, meaning their nervous system is frequently on high alert. Psychological stress, abuse, and other lifetime stressors are strongly associated with fibromyalgia, making emotional pain and physical pain deeply intertwined. Think about what that means. Your brain has two systems. One is constantly looking for danger, the other is supposed to soothe you, calm you down, tell you that you're safe. But in fibromyalgia, that soothing system is underactive. So your brain is stuck in threat mode. Every sound is too loud. Every touch is too much. Every stressor feels like a five-alarm fire. The FITSES model proposed that improving emotion regulation and strengthening the brain's soothing pathways may help reduce symptoms. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and other psychological interventions help patients change how they perceive and respond to stress, challenge fearful thoughts, and build more self supportive patterns. Guidelines encourage focusing on coping with symptoms, ceasing perfectionism, and respecting limits, all emotional and mindset shifts towards softness and self acceptance. And here's the beautiful part: cognitive behavioral therapy and related therapies show small to moderate benefits in reducing pain and distress in fibromyalgia. Once patients learn these skills, benefits can persist over time because they are practicing new emotional and cognitive habits rather than depending only on medications whose effects may fade. Brain imaging studies show that stress, anxiety, and depressed mood feed into pain processing centers, magnifying symptoms. Over time, repeated stress and unprocessed emotions may contribute to central sensitization, the brain and nervous system becoming overly sensitive to pain signals. These research insights have shifted the narrative about fibromyalgia from it's all in your head to your brain and emotions are involved, and that gives us more tools to help you. They validate the idea that learning to be softer with yourself and regulating emotion is a clinically meaningful part of treatment. So when you choose softness, when you choose to be gentle with yourself, when you choose to honor your limits, you are not being weak. You are being wise. You are participating in your own healing. Which brings me to the third thing Tara taught me. You can participate in your own healing by changing how you respond to life, even with fibromyalgia. Studies and patient organizations emphasize that while fibromyalgia is real and complex, People often see improvements when they combine medical care with emotional healing, stress reduction, and lifestyle changes. Non drug strategies like stress management, pacing, and emotional tools are described as essential parts of a proactive health management plan, not just optional add ons. Let me break down what this looks like in real life. People with fibromyalgia often experience a dysregulated stress response where their nervous system stays in fight or flight instead of returning to calm after stressful events. This leads to more intense pain, fatigue, sleep problems, headaches, and digestive issues. Individuals may not realize that everyday emotional stress, not just big traumatic events, can be a direct trigger of their symptoms. Imagine waking up every day with your body already in emergency mode. Your muscles are tense, your heart is racing, your mind is scanning for threats that aren't even there. And then life happens, a difficult conversation, a missed deadline, a text message that triggers old wounds. Your body doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing you and an email from your boss. It just knows danger, and it responds accordingly. So, what's the solution? Learning to manage your reaction to stress rather than trying to eliminate all stress. Mind body techniques such as mindful breathing, gentle movement like yoga, Tai Chi, walking, and meditation to calm the nervous system. Creating a soothing routine, prioritizing sleep, pacing activities, setting boundaries, and limiting draining commitments, all acts of emotional self care and softness. People who implement these strategies often experience fewer and less severe flare ups, improved sleep, and a greater sense of stability. These changes help break the vicious cycle where stress worsens symptoms and symptoms create more stress. This approach helps people see themselves as active participants in their healing, using emotional awareness, softness, and intentional routines to support their bodies. Choosing to love yourself more than the idea of giving up, being honest with yourself, asking for help, and believing that your story is not over can change the trajectory of your life, your work, and your relationships, even while living with chronic pain. Now, I want to be clear. I am not saying that fibromyalgia is all in your head. I am not saying that if you just meditate hard enough, your pain will disappear. I am not saying that you are responsible for your illness or that you did something wrong. What I am saying is that your body is listening. Your body is responding to your emotions, your stress, your fear, your exhaustion. And when you learn to speak to your body with kindness, with softness, with compassion, your body can finally start to heal. This is not about fixing yourself. This is about freeing yourself. This is about releasing the cape, dropping the superwoman script, and finally admitting that you are human, that you are tired, that you need rest, that you deserve softness. Tara Wilson is living proof that this is possible. She is teaching us that healing is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. Underneath all the fear, all the pain, all the pressure, it's about choosing light over fear, softness over survival, and love over the idea of giving up. Here's what I need you to understand. You have been taught that your value is in your productivity, that your worth is measured by how much you can carry, how much you can endure, how much you can give. But what if your real power is in your ability to rest? What if your greatest strength is in your willingness to be soft? What if the most revolutionary thing you could do is simply finally choose yourself? So here's what I'm asking you to do. Starting today, take one soft, as emotionally honest step each day to support your healing. That might look like taking 5 minutes of mindful breathing or meditation when you feel overwhelmed to calm your nervous system. It might look like checking in with your emotions instead of pushing them down, asking, "What am I really feeling right now?" and responding with kindness instead of judgment. It might look like choosing one boundary that protects your energy, saying no to something that drains you, or pacing your tasks instead of powering through. The challenge: choose one gentle emotional habit and practice it every day for the next 30 days, believing that you are worthy of that love and care. Because here's the truth: your story is not over, your body is not broken, your emotions are not the enemy, and softness is not weakness. Softness is the medicine you've been missing. Softness is the permission you've been waiting for. Softness is the revolution. Stop waiting for permission to rest. Stop apologizing for needing softness. Stop believing that you have to earn the right to be gentle with yourself. You don't. You are enough, exactly as you are, right now, in this moment. Your body has been carrying you through every storm, every heartbreak, every impossible day, and it's still here. It's still fighting for you. So maybe it's time you start fighting for it, not with force, not with punishment, but with love, with rest, with softness. Tara Wilson is showing us the way, teaching us that we can live with chronic illness and still choose joy, still choose rest, still choose ourselves. She is teaching us that healing is not about becoming pain free. It's about becoming fear free. It's about becoming free, period. So let's choose softness. Let's choose healing. Let's choose ourselves, not out of burnout moment, but out of reverence. Not because we have to, Benedine, but because we deserve to. Welcome to your soft girl era. Your body has been waiting for you, and the world needs you whole and not just functional. It needs you rested, not just resilient. It needs you soft, not just strong. Now go, take that first soft step. Your healing is waiting, and so is the rest of your beautiful, powerful, worthy life.